We have spent the moral capital of previous generations because we have abandoned a biblical worldview. Our culture is looking kind of nostalgically to the past. You know, we're wanting those tried and tested tools that have helped build the foundation for our nation, have sustained us, and we look longingly to the past. We're a culture that has succumbed to political correctness, sexual deviancy, atheistic self-sufficiency, okay? And we longingly look backwards, and the realization is that each generation has its own hailstorm that comes through. Each generation has to rebuild. And what we've got now, and what I've seen, is, in working with students, is that there is a moral bankruptcy. We have spent the moral capital of previous generations because we have abandoned a biblical worldview. One of the classic examples is that I was at camp several years ago, and there were a group of young girls, because we deal with students 13 to 18. These girls were probably 14, and they were all homeschool students. So they had not been immersed in the culture. And they called me over at lunch, and they said, "What do you think of, Caitlyn Jenner?" At that time, Bruce Jenner had come out and transitioned. Okay. Bruce? And they said, "Well, he wants to be called Caitlyn." I said, Abraham Lincoln said, if you call a sheep's tail a leg, how many legs does a sheep have? And the answer, of course, is 4. It doesn't matter what you call the tail. You can call it anything you want to, but it's still a tail. There is a confusion that is dominant throughout the culture. If I have to have that conversation with a group of young female students who have been immersed in a Christian worldview their entire lives, they weren't the product of being thrown into a secular education. They were homeschool students. If I have to have that kind of conversation with them, where are we? Okay? We are morally bankrupt as a culture. We are immersed in confusion. Okay? It's you don't define me, I define myself.